Most riders assume modifications always require big money, but that's not true. Some of the smartest upgrades you can make cost around $50 or less on most bikes. I'll flag where cost or compatibility may vary, but we're not talking about flashy bolt-ons here. These are the small changes mechanics notice first, the ones that affect safety, control, and serviceability. Think grips, adjustable levers, fork spacers, frame sliders, chain tools, preload tweaks, even a basic USB charger or safety light. They may not look like much, but they earn instant respect from people who actually work on bikes. It all starts with one upgrade so simple, most riders skip it. Yet every mechanic recognizes it right away as a sign you respect your bike. Respect comes from focusing on the basics. Function over flash. When you wrench on motorcycles every day, it's easy to spot which riders prioritize real control and safety versus the ones who just decorate their machines. Chrome covers or glowing LEDs might turn heads in a parking lot, but they don't help you brake harder, corner smoother, or ride with confidence. Practical upgrades, even when they look plain, tell a completely different story. They show you're serious about riding, not just showing off. Take levers, for example. Stock levers often have sloppy tolerances and very little adjustment. That leaves you fighting for smooth control. Swap them for adjustable levers and you'll instantly feel the difference. Better brake and clutch response, less fatigue on longer rides, and smoother operation in every condition. Mechanics notice that immediately, because it's something you feel every single time you touch the controls, not just when the bike's parked. A rider who makes that change is clearly thinking about performance, not posing. Brakes are another perfect example. Upgraded pads or stainless steel braided lines don't just look good, they dramatically improve safety. Higher grade pads sharpen stopping power and feel, while braided lines cut down brake fade during hard stops. Depending on your bike, this upgrade may run more than $50. But the principle holds. A rider who spends money here is investing in staying in control when it matters most. Mechanics always respect that kind of decision, because it's the sort of improvement that can literally save your skin. And the small touches add up fast. A modest spend on better grips delivers more comfort and confidence, especially on longer rides, while upgraded mirrors give you a clearer field of vision. They won't turn heads like aftermarket lights or anodized bolts, but they make every single ride smoother and safer. That's the key difference mechanics notice. Stickers on a helmet don't matter. A properly fastened chin strap does. Function always beats decoration, and mechanics judge riders the same way. They look past the chrome and color to see the parts that matter when things get tense on the road. That's why you'll sometimes catch a mechanic grinning when a bike rolls in with clean new tires or fresh brake components, and rolling their eyes at a machine weighed down with cosmetic bolt-ons. One shows a rider chasing reactions. The other shows a rider planning ahead and respecting the reality of riding. Small, thoughtful upgrades reveal mindset, and that mindset earns respect. And here's the payoff. When you spend on the basics, you don't just get smoother control or safer handling. You're also protecting yourself from problems that will sneak up later if you ignore them. That kind of foresight is exactly what mechanics look for, and it's where even the cheapest upgrades start punching above their weight. Because some of the smartest mods don't look like mods at all. They don't get compliments in the parking lot, but they stop hidden problems before they turn into expensive repairs. That's the real value of cheap upgrades, not making your bike louder or shinier, but preventing the kind of damage that takes a machine off the road. Take frame sliders, for example. They look boring. Nobody is going to clap because you bolted 2 black pucks to your frame. But when your bike tips over in a driveway or loses balance at walking speed, those same pucks can save you from cracked fairings, bent levers, or a dented engine cover. What costs you $40 today might save you a $400 headache tomorrow. A repair like that can easily set you back $400 or more, but a well-placed slider often takes the hit instead. The key here is quality. Mechanics always check the hardware. If the mount is solid and torqued correctly, they'll respect the choice. But if it's just a flimsy clip-on, they'll shake their heads. Because cheap protection that fails when you need it is worse than no protection at all. Chain care is another area where small habits save major money. A lot of beginners think they can ride until the chain squeaks, then spray some lube after the fact. That's exactly how sprockets wear early and drive lash creeps into the drivetrain. The long-term fix is upgrading to an O-ring chain when your old one's due, but depending on your bike, that's usually well over $50. Until then, every rider can afford the budget fix, proper maintenance. A basic chain cleaner and lube kit runs under $25, and if you actually use it on schedule, it keeps grit out and lubrication in. That single habit stretches the life of both chain and sprockets, and mechanics notice the difference instantly. A clean, cared-for chain tells them the owner pays attention. Another overlooked upgrade is protecting your engine and underbody. A simple skid plate, especially if you ride off-road or through rough streets, makes a huge difference. Rocks, debris, even an unexpected speed bump can chip or crack cases and headers. A basic skid plate can be found for under $50 on many models. It's not flashy, but it quietly deflects the kind of hits that could leave you stranded with oil pouring out. Mechanics respect it because it shows foresight and realism. You're planning for the conditions you actually ride in, not just the ideal ones. Even lightweight guards like bar-end sliders or swing-arm spools add value over time. They protect controls, give you lift points for stands, and reduce repair costs after the inevitable slow-speed mistake. Mechanics see those details as signs of experience. They know you understand drops happen, and you'd rather spend a little now than replace expensive controls later. What matters most is choosing carefully. Don't assume the very cheapest parts you find online will protect you. Thin sliders, brittle brackets, or no-name crash bars can fail at the exact moment you need them most, and mechanics can spot cut-rate parts right away. The riders who earn respect are the ones who research, choose carefully, and install upgrades that are built to do the job when it counts. When they do, the damage is often worse than if you had installed nothing at all. Spending slightly more on well-made hardware from a trusted source gives you protection mechanics will actually respect. All of these mods share one theme. They're not about looks. They're about long-term survival. They quietly reduce the risk of costly breakdowns, keep your bike rideable after a mistake, and preserve its value in the process. Mechanics always notice which riders plan for problems before they happen. A small preventive spend today avoids big repair bills later. And while these kinds of upgrades earn respect, there's another category of budget mods that speaks even louder. Not about prevention, but about the way you actually ride. Mods that signal rider wisdom. When mechanics talk about rider wisdom, they're not looking at paint jobs or chrome pipes. They look for small, thoughtful mods that show you've tuned the bike to fit you and the road. These changes are usually inexpensive, but they speak volumes about how much you understand comfort, control, and long-term ride quality. Take the fork brace. It's a simple piece of hardware that stiffens the front end, cutting down on fork flex when you brake hard or lean into uneven pavement. The benefit is a steadier feel at the bars, less chatter, and improved confidence through corners. Mechanics respect this because it's a hidden improvement, something only a rider who truly cares about handling would think to install. Preload adjusters or spacer kits are another subtle upgrade. Stock suspension is rarely matched perfectly to a rider's weight, and most owners never touch it. Adding adjusters lets you set sag properly so the bike tracks through turns without wallowing or diving under braking. It transforms stability, extends suspension life, and shows mechanics you care enough to dial in the fundamentals before chasing horsepower. Bar risers fall into the same category. Just lifting the bars a couple of centimeters changes more than posture. It eases wrist strain, encourages smoother steering inputs, and reduces fatigue on long rides. What some dismiss as a minor comfort tweak actually delivers more consistent control. especially when road conditions get tough. A mechanic spots risers and knows this rider is planning for both short commutes and long days in the saddle. Adjustable levers also carry a quiet weight. Stock levers assume every rider has the same hand size and grip strength, but that's rarely true. Swapping to adjustable levers lets you tailor the feel of the clutch and brake, improving comfort, reducing fatigue, and giving finer control in traffic or on twisty roads. Mechanics notice instantly because levers are one of the first points of contact between rider and machine. It's a small change, but it signals big awareness. You've thought about control first. Swapping to adjustable levers gives you clutch and brake controls you can fine-tune to your reach, sharpening control in traffic and under stress. Mechanics notice the difference immediately. It's not cosmetic, it's a real improvement in rider input. But here's the kicker. Even before you buy a single part, there's one mod that costs nothing but time: setting your suspension sag. Checking and adjusting sag so the suspension compresses correctly under your weight is, according to countless mechanics, the single biggest improvement most riders never bother with. It restores the bike's geometry, smooths out bumps, and prevents the suspension from topping or bottoming out too early. Riders who take the time to set sag show they understand performance comes from setup, not just parts catalogs. Put all these pieces together and you see the pattern. A fork brace, preload adjusters, bar risers, adjustable levers, and a proper sag setup are all modest, budget-friendly choices. None of them make your bike louder or flashier. They make it ride better. Mechanics pick up on that instantly because it separates the crowd chasing attention from the riders serious about control, stability, and endurance. Think of it this way. Rider A spends money on an exhaust and decals. Rider B spends the same amount making sure their bars, levers, and suspension actually fit their body. Flash versus function. Mechanics don't hesitate. They respect the one who made the bike handle right. These are the kinds of changes that quietly prove experience and foresight. They're about improving the ride for every mile, not the appearance for a moment. And that points to the bigger truth behind every respected modification. The upgrades that truly earn mechanic respect are the ones that sharpen control, improve safety, and extend your bike's life. They might not grab attention in a parking lot, but they deliver every time you ride, and that's what matters. Now I want to hear from you. What's the best cheap mod you've added to your bike? Pick one of the 7 we covered today and make it happen this month. Then come back and share which one you chose. And if you found this helpful, hit like and subscribe for more mechanic-level tips. Do this right, and the next time your bike's in the shop, the mechanic will nod instead of rolling their eyes.